This podcast contains full spoilers for the game Tacoma, as well as vague spoilers for the game Gone Home. That's our resident bongo expert in the corner, Ferdinand.
Ferdinand von Yui Boom. Yes, so... you
Can we start again?
No, it's fine.
I can start again. Hello everybody and welcome to the Game Spoilers podcast. My name is Jeremy and I will be one of your hosts. In front of me, as always, is Kerry Palmer.
Hello.
And to my left is June Williams.
Good evening.
This is episode 2 of the Game Spoilers podcast. Episode 1 was about Hellblade. I'm not restarting now. It's fine.
I just love that you can't say it.
It's because I keep saying Henua for whatever reason.
I thought you were going to say hentai.
Henbade, Selua's sacrifice.
Yes. The first episode was about Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, which is up on every other podcasting service, including gamespoilers.com. This is episode 2 about Tacoma, the game, not the place. A game by Fullbright of Gone Home fame. You can find us on Twitter at GameSpoilersPod. You can go to gamespoilers.com and you can listen to it on all of the different podcasting services. Kerry, where can they find you on Twitter?
Oh, I'm at KJ Palmer 24.
And June, where can they find you on Twitter?
Junez, but there's 2 S's and an underscore in there somewhere.
And you can find me, Jeremy, at Obi-Wan Jez. Obi-Wan, like the Star Wars character. A Jez, like me, with 2 Zs. I realised not everyone might not be able to spell the word Jez.
Jez,
seeing as
like
it's not
me.
a word.
Yeah, so, I mean, hopefully we'll be having more conversation online at the moment.
Certainly hope so.
It's hard to have a conversation when no one's talking, but maybe we'll start the conversation this time, and you can all join in whenever you want to. Or not.
That'd be cute.
It's up to you.
Yeah. So I think we're going to start off this Game Spoilers podcast by talking about the story, and then just kind of talking about...
Story of what, Jeremy?
Tacoma.
The game or the place?
The place.
Okay, the story of the place, Tacoma.
Yes, the story of the spaceship Tacoma.
The one in Belgrave or the one in the States?
This is being very specific now. I have no idea. Yes, so we're going to talk about the story first, and then we'll probably start talking about the characters, motivations, diversity, and other sections of it. Probably towards the end, we'll kind of wrap it up. I mean, it's not a very long game.
Yes, towards the end we will wrap it up.
And I promise you... yes, thank you, Kerry. And I promise you it will be a lot shorter than 2 hours.
Yes, or 2 hours 30.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, we had a great time talking in that podcast, but
I'm not sorry.
I also had to edit out about 30 minutes. Yeah, it was a good time.
Right, so who wants to start? Would you like... Kerry, you usually helmed the narrative.
That's true. Sorry, I got distracted by my cat.
Oh, I've got to introduce Fenris.
Oh yeah, Fenris the cat in the corner.
Yeah.
Ferdinand L. Yui Boom in the corner.
Yeah.
The bongo specialist.
Which is a joke you're not going to get because Kerry's going to cut that out.
Unless I put it in.
You absolute madman. Alright. Kerry, would you like to start the narrative?
Sure. So Tacoma is about... you play as Amy... I'm just going to say Amy.
Name?
Yeah, no, her last
name.
It's used like 3 times just as the...
Yeah,
Amy. You play as Amy. They only ever use their first names anyway. Yes, you play as Amy. You've been sent to the space station Tacoma, which is a space station that has had all of its crew member evacuated. All of its members have been evacuated. We don't know why. We don't know why we've been sent there, except that we're to retrieve the AI system that sort of oversees the operational functions of the space station, called Odin.
I'm going to be completely honest. I forgot Amy was a character.
Yeah.
To the point where up until now I forgot that you actually play a character.
Yep.
To the point where I'm looking through all my notes and I don't mention the player at all.
Yeah, no, you're not meant to. The story's not about the player. It ties in
At the end.
At the very
but,
end.
Yeah. So you've been sent to the space station. You don't know what's going on. It's all a bit strange. Things have been left like, you know, when you're playing... or you see a movie and it's like a zombie movie and you go into the house and the cliche is like, oh, everything was left as it was. Like, they didn't even have time to, like, eat their dinner, you know.
Yes.
it's the space station set up like that. It's all in disarray. Everything's gone wrong. Something's happened clearly, and you're there not to find out why. You're specifically told not to find out, but there's also literally nothing else to do in the game but find out why you're there. The game tells you all of this. It tells you the story of the crew members of this space station through this really awesome augmented reality interface where you see recordings of the people in the space around you walk around and talk to each other, and they all have different silhouettes and different colors for their shapes, and so you can rewind time throughout these scenarios as you walk into these spaces.
It's kind of like watching a 3D version of CCTV.
Yeah, and you can move around the space. And like some people move in and out of the room, and they.
It's like watching a play almost, one that you're in.
Yeah. Or here's a really dated reference for you.
Right.
Did any of you ever have a DVD that made use of like the angles feature? That had like different camera angles, and you could press the angle button, and it would keep the film playing, but take it to like camera 2, and then like camera 3.
Yeah, kind of. There was a game that did that set in a house, which was like a really ancient game, and for some reason it got remade last year. I don't remember why. I can't remember the name of the game.
Talking about Resident Evil?
No. It's a game where you're in a house. Like, no, you're controlling security cameras in a house. And there's like
Five Nights at Freddy's.
No. It's like ghosts and monsters and stuff, but it's all
FMV.
It's all FMV.
Is that Night Trap one?
Night Trap. That's the game I was thinking of.
That's the one that got ratings made in the States.
Yeah, that is the reason a rating system is in place.
Because it was violent.
That was a reason.
Yeah.
Augmented reality.
Yes.
Interfaces with actors.
Yeah, totally. And you get to choose who you're listening to at any one moment by moving around the space and listening to them, rewinding the time, fast-forwarding the time to the interesting part, seeing what was on their computer, their artificial reality computer
at the time.
Desktop that they were looking at the time. Yeah. So you find out through one of the first scenes that you go into that the space station has had its communications relay knocked out. Their life support systems have been messed up as well, so they've only got a limited amount of oxygen. They can't call for help. Something's very wrong. And they've got to figure out a way to sort it out.
So before we keep going, Kerry, have you played this before? And where did you play it? I
played this on my computer. I had not played it before. I have played Gone Home, so I definitely understood the feel of this game. It sort of feels like a sequel in a very non-direct way, but the gameplay is very similar.
June, have you played it before? And have you played Gone Home? And where did you play it?
Yeah, so I played Tacoma when it came out, maybe the week that it came out last year. Last year? Yeah.
Yes.
Was that like 9 months ago or something?
Yeah, and I played it by myself on the computer because I think that's the only place you can play it.
And Xbox.
It's on Xbox as well.
Huh.
Xbox One console exclusive.
Cool.
That's a good impression.
Xbox my kappa.
That's it.
And I have played Gone Home as well.
Right.
But I played that a while back.
Right, so I'm the only one who has not played Gone Home.
You have not played Gone Home?
I haven't played Gone Home. I know the story of Gone Home, but I haven't actually played it.
That's going to be interesting then.
So
it's a good ride.
I can't get that good Gone Home surprise.
You should play Gone Home though. No, you haven't.
I do want to play Gone Home.
Everyone, let us know if you want us to tackle Gone Home in the podcast.
Yeah.
Send us a little tweety
I wouldn't mind
tweet.
playing it again.
Tweet us if you want us to do that, or tweet us if you're listening, and tweet me where you're listening, because I'm actually very curious where you're listening to the podcast, because my analytics don't tell me that very well.
That was borderline creepy. Tell me where you're listening, because I'm very interested in where you're listening to the podcast.
Tell me
and
what.
Also, what are you wearing?
Tell me what.
Are you on the toilet right now?
Tell me what service you're using to listen to the podcast is my actual request, Kerry.
Is that Spotify? Ooh.
Oh boy. Okay. Yes. So narrative of Tacoma.
Oh, it's interesting. I hadn't prepared myself to summarize. So I guess I'll just go through like what happens in the space station rather than like the character moments.
Do you want me to do it? Because I played it like 5 hours ago. I literally replayed it.
I mean, I played it like 24 hours ago.
Okay, you can go.
I don't know.
Do you guys wait that long? Okay. I played it like 2 days after we finished doing the Hellblade one.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I wanted to do it closer to when we recorded it, so
right.
It was fresh.
Yeah.
Although it's clearly helping me right now.
Like I wanted to like. I always like it when it like sits in me for a long time.
Well, I've already played it. And also,
Yeah,
I didn't have
okay.
time until now.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's true. You've already played it.
Sits in you.
Yeah, Tacoma sits in me. Like dinner.
Yeah, so after 24 hours, it's gone.
I was digesting it, Kerry. I was digesting it. And I'm... Okay.
Oh.
So, June, do you want to take the...
Yeah,
You want to
you're
take,
gonna-
I'm handballing this
okay.
up. I'm unprepared.
take the reins.
So, yeah, so you've just realised that they don't have any oxygen and they don't have any communications to outside their space station.
So this is in the first...
This is in the first section.
Yeah, the first section, which is operations, which I wrote down.
Oh, you wrote them down?
I wrote all of them down.
Nice.
So
And
this is the
you...
mess hall in the
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that what is their dinner, their thing called?
Obsolescence
Day.
That's... Oh, well, okay,
Celebrating
so hang
their
on.
first year, the 1 year.
Before we continue, there are two paths you can take. You can go left and go right. One is operations, the other one is administration. Administration is the party.
Oh.
Operations is the initial introduction where there's the gym and there's...
Oh, the gym, yeah, where Andrew's on the phone to his son.
Yeah.
That's not in the first half, is it?
Yeah, that's...
No.
Yeah. I wrote it
Yeah,
in...
it is.
chrono-
Really? You can play
Yeah.
that first? Huh,
Because
okay.
the second third is the botanical area and the
Wow,
med-
okay,
med
no,
bay.
both times I've played, I've always gone to the party first.
Yeah,
Right.
I
didn't
did that
realise
too.
you could go to... I feel like that wouldn't make
It wouldn't make
sense.
as much sense,
Yeah.
I feel.
Really?
I'm surprised that they even let you do
Well,
it.
did you do operations first? Did you went to the gym first?
Yeah, because in that section, they haven't... Like, it hasn't happened
true.
yet.
It hasn't happened in
The
that
incident
bit.
hasn't happened yet. It's
Oh my
just,
God, you're right.
It's just them talking.
There you
Huh,
go.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Like because this is what it introduced that the subcontractors
yeah.
Yeah.
and
And the company.
And how they're not exactly happy with the company.
Yeah.
And,
like so like
and their,
that's
their
where I went
contracts.
first.
That's
Um,
interesting.
Not because of any reason. I think because I read left. I mean, everyone leads left to right, but I think I went left because that was my immediate first section.
Cool.
Yeah, so you did administration first. Okay. Going from administration to operations, did things make less sense?
No, because it tells you the date at the bottom. It was like,
Right.
the admin day, the party day where everything gets broken.
Yeah.
That said 3 days, and then when you walk into the next room, that said 4 days. So I understood that was that it was different.
Right, okay.
And everyone's more relaxed during that time. They're all stressing about whether they're getting their contracts renewed, basically,
Yeah.
or whether they want to get their contracts renewed.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, like I wrote down, Natalie doesn't believe she'll get her contract renewed. Roberta is just happy to have a job. And then it talks about the...
Clive and Evie.
Uh,
That's in that section too, isn't it?
Yes, they're in that section as well. I actually didn't write anything down for them, which is weird.
They
But
had a conversation about, also if their contracts don't get renewed or not. And,
they were kind of...
and Clive was like...
They were kind of play fighting.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like, Evie was like, what are you going to do if I don't get renewed or something? And Clive was like, well, I'm not going to...
We don't have to worry about that. I'll just come with you.
Yeah.
Well, like, and he was, like, what makes you think you're gonna get renewed and I'm not?
Yeah, that's it.
And then Natalie starts talking about how she doesn't have access to Odin, and she threatens to quit if she doesn't get access.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was interesting in that section because I thought that was a really cool... I mean, I suppose both of the introduction sections, because that's Nat and Bert together.
Yeah.
And you really get the sense of their like dynamic,
Yeah.
the relationship dynamic, and I think that played out really well throughout the whole arc of the game.
Yeah.
And it's nice seeing how Bert's just there, and it's great to be doing any job, and that's fine. And Nat's like sort of this really assertive, talented, like
Yeah. Like, she's very like in control of what's going on.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
And Bert just kind of like happy to be there with Nat.
Yeah, totally. And Nat's so frustrated that like her role was basically redundant because they won't let her near Odin and stuff like that. I thought that was really interesting.
Also, Amazon Uni. Woof.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I saw that. I didn't know whether to think like, is that Amazon like Amazon, or is that
I'm assuming
Toto Amazon? Wait, no. They don't mention that.
Africa
do
by Toto is
they?
what? Is that what you?
Africa by Amazon. Moving on.
So at the end of every section, I'm going to have Jeremy's own little sub topic, which is called "This Fucking CEO," which is just me complaining about this fucking CEO.
Oh, that's great, because that's gonna make sure we talk about the discontent with the company.
Yes, and about this fucking CEO who in this section of the game says commerce that brought a new era of prosperity to our planet.
This was the one on the radio, wasn't it?
It's always on the radio.
Really?
The CEO has a little message in every level on the radio.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I literally don't even think I heard any of those radio.
Right, so
it's only when people aren't there. Like,
okay.
Yeah,
I let the scene play and I was doing something on, like I was getting a drink or something, and then the radio started talking to me. I was like,
yeah, because there's always music in at least one section of each level.
Yeah,
and every now and again it'll display like a message from your glorious CEO.
Yeah, Sergio Venturis.
Yeah, whatever. Venturis.
Yeah, Venturis.
The name of the company.
So yeah, every section we go through, I'm going to complain about what he says because he says everything that's bad in the world.
Yeah, so I guess
like then administration.
Yeah.
Party.
Can I also mention something first about back in the gym?
Yep.
You also start to see this dynamic between Odin and Sarah.
Yeah,
sort of emerge.
I mean, you see that in is it Administrator when she's playing pool?
Yeah, that's true. It's in most scenes.
Yeah.
They seem to have a really strong connection because it's like Evie and Clive are partners. Nat and Bert are married, they're partners. And then Andrew and Sarah, I think they get along, they're friends.
Yeah.
Because Andrew's playing that like AR game and Sarah's playing with him in that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sort of like Andrew's either on his own or in the group or with Sarah, or Sarah's on her own talking to Odin.
Mm.
Yeah.
And if she's not on her own, she's talking to someone else. Yeah.
Yes.
So it was interesting seeing that.
So in both of those initials, in like whichever one you do first,
Yeah.
it's always going to set up her dynamic with Odin.
That's true, and it's also both of the things that Odin talks about both times. It's like it's about Odin developing connection to people. Like in the gym, he's like, oh yeah, I tried to behave like someone like the person asked me to, and I did it too well, and they didn't like me anymore. And I was like, oh wow, that's really interesting. But
and
also clearly he's quite an advanced developing adaptive robot AI system.
Yeah, and Natalie obviously also is very interested in the robots.
Oh yeah, and that's her job.
Yeah.
So
and the robot's well-being, I mean.
Which room do you go into next?
Well, I mean, like, we can also talk about the party, which is, what was it called? Obsolescence Day?
What did you think of that? I didn't know what to make of it. I found it really weird, like really off-putting.
It was kind of...
Especially when you're reading the pages, I guess, whatever the computers are called, and then Odin sent them all a message of what to make.
Yeah. Please procure 12 ounces of this for thing, and blah, blah,
and like
blah.
this is how you make the cake.
Yeah.
It's like, that's very strange. It's like, the AI
Yeah.
making this party.
Yeah, like my note is Obsolescence Day is funny, kind of fucked. Because it's a really celebrating the day for the AI, which is kind of funny. And it obviously plays in with a lot of the rest of the game. When you find like the the freedom fighters group and stuff.
Totally, and like the thing that it also speaks to for me, I think, is that they do this in Gone Home as well, and they do it really well. Is they play with your expectations. So you think space station in the middle of space.
Yes.
The crew aren't here. Something happened. Everything's messed up, and you're here to get the AI. There's an AI on an abandoned space station.
Yeah.
So the immediate assumption is AI kills crew.
Also, Obsolescence Day is the day that everything fucks up for everyone on the ship.
Totally.
Like it's definitely a...
It's ominous.
Yes, it is ominous. Yes, so they're having the party for Obsolescence Day, and then during the party, a asteroid... Was it
Belt?
Yeah, that's what they said.
Yeah,
I think
belt like hit the station. And
hit the station.
Knocked out their oxygen and communications.
Yes. And understandably, they're all very concerned and worried about that because they have a limited amount of oxygen left.
Yeah, that's true.
74 hours, I think it was.
Something like
6
that.
hours, yeah.
They're all very pragmatic, though. They're all very they're like,
what do we do?
well, now what do we do?
Yeah.
What do we do? We're this industrious group of people. Let's figure something out. Which I thought was
Sure,
pretty
you'd have
cool.
to be like that if you were
yeah,
hired to go and work in space.
Yes. I wrote it down. Actually, it says 50 hours remaining, and all communications channels have been lost.
Yeah.
Yes. So in this scene, Evie is the captain of the ship.
Yeah. And she's doing her yearly report.
Yeah, to Venturas. Everyone gets renewed, which is unheard of for the very first time.
Yeah.
In the company,
Which is important.
Later on, we also learn that Evie's sister has died.
Yeah, that's right. This is... okay, so do we want to do the story overall and then talk about character moments afterwards? Or do we want to do them in conjunction with each other? Because each section had a character moment within it.
Well, I feel like most of the game is character moments anyway. Like, going through the story is not that... Wouldn't be...
Okay, cool. So let's talk about the characters then. The moments.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is Evie's sector. This is the one where Evie's quarters are.
Yes.
And is Clive's the one in
operations.
near the gym? I think it is. I think it must be Clive's.
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
Yeah, it
because
is.
he's getting drunk talking to his friend.
Yeah.
And you can actually read a note in Clive's room somewhere saying that, I can't believe I lent you this. You better return it all back in its one piece. And you're not quite sure what it is until you go into Evie's room, and one of Clive's family has lent Clive a tea set, which then Clive has immediately given to Evie as a present.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like
Their dynamic is strange.
Yeah,
Clive is very strange,
Clive
isn't
is-
he?
Clive is
Because
very strange.
you read some of his thing, and he's got like a manual of like how to like
Talk
be
to
a goody
crew
two, yeah,
and-
or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
talk up to your superiors. It's like, hang on, you're in bed with your superior. Why are you looking up a manual on how to talk to them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was and he was like using the tips in there. It was like, oh, also call your CEO this, and then in the conversation he's like, and it's like,
It's very good writing.
hang on, what? Are you just in this for the prestige?
So I fucked up slightly. I can't do this fucking CEO just for this room because I wrote in my notes, go back and find the CEO. Whoops, and I forgot to do that because I didn't go back through my notes. Oh well. Anyway.
Oh, we're professionals.
Yes.
Um,
Clive is also getting emails from his friend saying Evie isn't healthy for him
Yeah.
as a relationship.
yeah,
You
although
get that at the
doesn't
very
really seem
start.
Yeah.
substantiated by anything. It's just like
Yeah.
maybe a jealous friend or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they were if they met on this ship. Yes, right?
Yeah, they did, because they say in one of the botany room that they've never felt the pull of the earth together.
That's
yeah,
true,
yeah.
Nat and Bert were married beforehand, though.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So yeah, Clive's a very interesting character. I didn't understand what that case was that said you better not mess this up.
Yeah.
because it was just empty. I'm like,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
the hell?
yeah. Neither did I until I saw it later, and I saw something alluding to the fact that it was.
Well, I mean, because you
Clive's
went to
T-set.
operations first, you probably understood. You were
No,
probably
I
looking
would-
out for it.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, no. Like, I actually went back way later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
because I was thinking. Because I didn't open one of the rooms in Clive's bedroom. I didn't open one of the cases because I thought that was going to be something I would come back to.
Oh, right, okay.
And
then you realised.
Then I realized like there's no transference in between rooms, so I did go back and I ended up opening it up.
Cool.
Yeah, then Nat and Bert are heavily in love in this scene, talking about finding a place together, and yeah, that's pretty much all of that scene. Basically, like there's
Yeah.
someone playing pool.
Yeah, Sarah's playing pool. Andrew and Clive are talking about not much at all.
Yeah, like they're just talking about making the
And
cake.
Evie's
right,
talking through a script.
Yeah,
Yeah, the important thing in that scene is oh no, we're on a
We're all
derelict
gonna die.
space station. Yeah.
Which is why I think that scene works better as a startup scene than
Yeah.
than the operations
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, you get the dynamic of Nat and Bert sort of being
Yeah.
apprehensive but hopeful at the same time, and they're very close. And you get Andrew's a bit apprehensive about something. I don't really understand. I don't.
Andrew's
remember
always
at all.
apprehensive. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think that man is ever like relaxed or calm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he's just a stress
it's
head.
funny because he's a botanist. Yeah, I actually think it works better the way I went through, just because it reminds me of a Star Trek episode where you get all the characters and then you get the problem.
That's fair.
But that's also just me, and you can obviously work either way.
Yeah.
Right, then the next section.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting that they did that, because in every other section, like every other bit is locked off until you unlock it. So I wonder why they had both
Well, no, because the second third as well you can split off.
Split off. Okay.
Well, like in every section you can split off.
Yeah. Okay.
Not in the third one.
You sure?
You can't go
'cause
into
mechanics is locked. Or is it mechanics?
No, it's the networking.
Yeah.
It's Odin's section. You can't go into the networking section until you
Oh,
go into the
right.
mechanics.
Okay. Yeah,
and then
I
go
get
through
you.
Yeah.
Right.
The last third is locked off.
Yeah, mechanical engineering.
The first 2/3 are open to you either way.
That's right, because I think it tries to because there's a big sign on the wall that says Obsolescence Party.
Yeah.
This way, and you're like, all right, I'll go this way.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
a
why
good
you
point.
would go the other way.
I don't know. I just did.
Yep.
That's fair.
Right. Yeah. So then,
Can we talk?
Oh, yeah.
It has struck me now, and I have to talk about it now that I've thought about it.
Okay.
I want to talk about the centrifuge system that is the space station. So
Oh, the design of it.
yeah.
Like the central hub section where
Yeah,
it's
so
zero
there's
gravity.
well, just the whole hub.
Yeah.
So there's the spindle in the middle
Yeah.
where you float through in zero gravity, and then you can go down the tunnels to either one of the spinning sections, and the spinning creates the artificial gravity. Every time I was in one of those, I was in a room in one of the pods,
Yeah.
in one of the spinning arms, and you look up through the window, and you see the rest of the space station spinning, as well as the sky and the sun, and then the Earth goes past. It literally took my breath away every time I saw it from a different angle.
Right,
Every
yeah.
time,
It's really
I was
cool.
like, it was astounding. It's such an incredible visual image that they just nail time and time and time again throughout every sector of that space station.
I also really liked, more from a technical point of view, the loading screens which are hidden by the elevators in between each section,
Yeah.
and how, like, you know, it's not quite sure how long it's going to take to load. So instead of looking down and seeing it slowly get towards you when it's not ready, it puts the character's foot, like the foot in, so you can't see the end of the tunnel,
It's
so you're
very
not quite sure
clever.
how far away
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, same with the up.
I
Yeah,
remember
it's a very clever thing.
when I was loading like the first section as you go down to the party and stuff. So it took maybe a good 5 minutes. I'm like, oh my god, has my game crashed?
Really?
What's gone
Full
wrong
on.
here?
I feel like the game did get faster loading as
Yeah,
it went
no,
on,
it
which
did.
was odd.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, it works.
We are back.
Okay. So the next two sections are biology and medical.
Yeah.
Which one did you all do first?
I did medical
Medical.
first.
You did medical first. Really? Because I did biology first.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Medical's on the right, isn't
Medical's
it?
on the right. Yeah. All right. All right. So let's talk about medical first then.
Medical
even
is-
though this chronologically is not the right way.
No, I don't mind that, though.
Right. Yeah.
I really liked this section because it had so many good moments. This is the section where you find out that Evie and Clive have gone into cryo to save on oxygen to give the remaining crew members a better shot at coming up with an escape plan.
Yeah.
Or rather, executing the escape plan. They've got the plan.
Yes.
So they've already gone
Because
down
they would
for
be
cryo.
wasting oxygen at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be helping anything. Because Clive... What is Clive?
What is his job?
Operations.
Yes.
I mean, he's only there for those... He's there for 3 sections and then he's at the end. But
I can't remember what he does.
I remember his symbol
Complain.
was COGS. It was
Yeah.
COGS. And he was in the
Yes.
operations section. So let's just say operations.
Because you don't see him do his job at all throughout the entire game.
No, I mean, he was the one who was kind of tackling the party mostly. I just understood that he was like...
He was cooking.
Yeah.
The cook.
Anyway, whatever. Clive and Eve have gone into cryo,
Yes.
which has left Bert and Nat to work on retrofitting the...
Escape pods, right?
No, it's... Yeah, what they have is they have like a... they have a shuttle, and they use that to... That's what they use to get supplies to and from the station.
Yes.
And they've got to make it and put them all frozen selves in the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to... The shuttle doesn't have life support for anyone. And it also doesn't have, like, radiation shielding.
Yes, that's it.
So they needed to make it habitable for human life so they could fit 6 people in there and get them to the moon, because that's the nearest place. Because the moon's habitated.
Habitable?
Habitated. No, because there's habitats on... No, human... No, it's Colonized.
Right. Okay. Yep.
Oh dear. So that's sort of interesting because you get this impression that they have to take matters into their own hands and things are quite dire, but also everyone's still kind of holding it together in this section.
Kinda, yeah.
I mean, Andrew's not.
Yeah, Andrew's the one who's kind of freaking out the most.
Yeah. It was interesting doing these two in the order because you see the second half of the conversation with Sarah and Andrew, and then you see the first half when you go over to Bio.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andrew's so apprehensive about the whole thing. He just seems to be so scared about anything happening. There just seems to be this conception that cryo means
Death.
you'll die when you come out of it, or like something will go wrong and you'll be dead as you pass.
Yeah, he's very pessimistic. In his note, which you can read on his person, he begins to tell like his family that that he loves them.
If you read this,
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Yeah, and at the end of the note, it reads, "Actually, Odin, I'm not ready to do this. Please stop."
Yeah,
And,
just
like,
I'll come back to
finish
it.
this later.
Yeah, I'll finish
Because
this
he was
later.
dictating. Yeah.
He also
Yeah.
has on the other screen a life what's the word? God, we were talking about it before.
Life support,
No. Oh my god.
cryo,
No. Money get back when you die.
life insurance.
Insurance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an insurance for his family.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing that got me in this section is that he was. Oh, this comes up in Bio, but as we're talking about it, I'm going to bring it up anyway, and then we'll go back to medical. But
Yeah.
in Bio, you see on his like computer screen, the last conversation he's had with his partner is an argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the last thing that was happening was him like saying, I'm sorry, I'm really just this, and that. Yeah, I'm just worried about this, I'm just worried about that, and it says failed to send. And so it's like
Yes.
so he's so cut because he like ended the last time he spoke to his son, it was really negative, and he's been like text shouting with his husband.
Yeah.
And then now he might die and not get to say anything
Yeah.
good back to them. you
Yeah,
know?
Yes.
that was
So I don't blame him.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, no, that is a very, that would be a lot to deal with,
Yeah, totally.
considering that everyone apart from Sarah is their significant other is already on the ship.
Mm-hmm. Him and Sarah, yeah.
So you see him in medical, and he's saying, "Okay, I'm okay to go and
Yeah,
go into
I'm-
cryo."
yeah.
Yeah, he
he's
says,
coming to
does it
terms with
hurt?
it.
Does it
Yeah.
hurt if we get stuck in cryo?
And then
They're interrupted by a loud crash next
Yeah,
door, which
yeah.
is Bert and Natalie.
I love them a lot.
Very cute.
Yeah, so they're like
Yeah,
having a
their
really similar
conversation.
conversation. Like, what if this is the last time we get to see each other? What if we don't get to go home? And Nat's like,
You
look,
can't think about that.
No, we've got a job to do. You've just got to section off.
Yeah.
Like old world computer technology.
And there are reasons. Oh wait, no, actually, that's not explained until later. Natalie's heart condition is not explained until later.
That's
no,
in
no,
this
no,
section.
no, but I mean, is in Natalie doesn't know.
No.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
so
I forgot about
In
that.
this section, Sarah talks to Odin at some point, saying,
Before
Should I-
Andrew comes in.
"Yeah,
Yes.
have I made the wrong decision?" And the decision is, Sarah, the medical officer on board, has said to Nat and Bert that they're both clear for cryo. Even although only Bert is clear for cryo, and
Yes.
Nat actually has a heart murmur.
Yeah,
And
is not recommended for cryo.
no, because statistically, only 18% of people who go into cryo with this heart murmur come out alive.
Yes.
Because there's some problem with the not revival, but the waking process. It's like, wow, why did Sarah make that decision? That's so full on, and they cover that obviously, but
And
yeah, it was so intense.
Sarah also, I think, feels guilty because I don't know if you opened up her locker, but she lost a patient, and it was a lot of it was blamed on her.
A lot of it was blamed on her because she came out against the AI that made a bad decision prior.
Yeah. Yes.
And now she's, maybe killing someone again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Nat and Bert just have this great moment where Nat's like, we should be making the most of our time. and just like jumps on Bert and knocks them into the wall.
Yeah,
and that's when it makes sense in the room that the shelf is on the floor and all of the shit is everywhere.
Yeah,
it's
and you can see the shelf like detached from the wall and stuff.
It's so clever. It's so good.
This is more on the nose. Did you see the skeleton in the closet?
I did see the skeleton.
I want to talk about this later as well.
Did you put the skull on the skeleton?
No, I did not know you could do that.
You can find a skull and you can put it on the skeleton.
And get an achievement for it?
No, there's a party hat. And then you put the party hat on the skeleton, and then you get an achievement.
Oh my god. Where was the skull?
It was in the storeroom, I think, with the note.
I didn't realize the skull wasn't on the skeleton. I just opened the closet, I was like, this is weird, I'm leaving.
On this episode of This Fucking CEO, he says, look boldly into the future and not backwards into the past. And immediately I'm also like, fuck you. Anyway, that's pretty much his only thing in that sentence.
Fuck you, Sergio.
Yeah.
So then we go over to botany.
To biology.
Biology, sorry.
Yes.
Same difference.
Same thing.
Gonna get a lot of hate emails. Keep going.
And we...
Yeah, so many hate.
This is when Evie and Clive are non-cryoed.
Yes, this is before they're in cryo.
Yeah, and they say, like, this is what... They hash out the plan, right?
Yeah, this is when the plan is made. I think they've made the plan already, and we come in just as they're like, all right, team break.
Yeah.
And it splits off into Clive and Evie and Bert and...
Nat and Bert. And they walk out.
Yeah. And
they pretty much leave.
Andrew and Sarah downstairs.
Yes. With all the plants.
What do Nat and Bert talk about again? I can't remember off the top of my head.
They just talk about making the plan happen and being like enthusiastic
That's right.
about it and making it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nat's
and
like,
Nat
I
goes-
started
Nat
as soon
goes-
as it happened.
Yeah, Nat goes to Evie and she's like, she says something about...
It'll be the ride of your life.
Yeah, and
then
they're all
Bert
like,
says
in a
in
different
more
way
ways
than
than
one.
one.
Yeah.
And then Clive also says in more ways
Yeah,
than
they said
one.
exactly at the same time, which I thought was very cool.
And then Clive and Evie have a cute scene, I guess.
Yeah.
They have a very
Looking out
heartfelt
over-
scene. They
yeah.
have a real moment together. It's not the how to suck up to your superiors moment. Weird Clive being weird.
Yeah, and it was very much Clive and Evie being on the same level, which I think is not a common thing in their relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, because Evie's the manager of the operation.
Well, like even like just their dynamic, Evie is very much Evie is very much the one who's in being the leader of the relationship almost.
Yeah, and Clive's so unsure of himself as well.
Yeah, and they have a very kind of like Clive's kind of just like, let's just have a good moment together type thing.
Yeah, he gets pretty soppy too, because that's that same moment. That's the same thing as like, let's just like imagine if we get home, like we haven't felt the pull of gravity together.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that's sort of how he is for the rest of the times that you see him. It's an actual kind of genuine emotions from him, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And then
Sarah and
Andrew goes downstairs and has a little freak out.
Yeah, Andrew's
Sarah.
so scared.
And then Sarah sort of talks him through it, right? And says like stuff about cryo. Does he talk? He talks about cryo, right?
He talks about,
cryo,
well, Andrew was scared about getting into cryo into a geriatric spaceship. He then asks Odin if he can send a message to his family if he dies.
And Sarah goes upstairs and she has a bit of a panic
Yeah,
attack.
Sarah freaks out.
Yeah, Sarah has another panic
which I also
attack
don't-
separately.
Yeah.
I thought something that I thought was really interesting is I followed Sarah last. So I had Sarah talking to Andrew and Sarah goes away. And then Sarah also catches up with Clive and Evie at the very end.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
And so all you see is her being fine at the start and her being fine at the end. And you don't have any sort of idea of the legitimate panic attack that she's having behind that closed door. And then you follow her in and she's like, oh my god, what am I doing? Odin, I need some help. And she goes through this whole chant. I was like, wow, I have no idea.
I
that
really
this happened.
liked that chant at the end when she's walking sort of to the door-ish. And what does she say? It's something like, I've been put here to do a job and I will complete it to the best of my ability.
Something like that. Yeah,
something along
that's
those
a-
lines.
that's a-
And she says that over like quite a couple of times. And I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And like seeing a character like, have a mental breakdown is pretty good, especially in a situation like that.
Yes. Did you go? So you guys went into Andrew's bedroom, and you see stuff from his son. Andrew's son sends him a present, which is a box of sunglasses for the crew.
Sunglasses.
Because he's bald and it's bright off his head, which is a very good joke.
That was so funny.
I wrote this down specifically to bring up on the podcast. Also, Andrew might totally be a stoner because he has fake cigarettes around, which is fine, but he also has papers in the same cabinet under his bed as sweets, and also hangs around with a lot of plants, and when you open the toilet, a particle effect of smoke briefly appears.
Well, I mean, he's a stress head, isn't he?
He is also a botanist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like the sunglasses thing. I thought that was very funny.
Yeah, no, that was funny. It took me a while to get it, because it's abstracted. I opened it, I was like, oh, he has a sunglasses collection. That's weird. And then he reads the email from you read the conversation, he's like, what's his son's name?
I did write down his son's name.
Nicholas?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's like, I don't really get it. He's like, it's for the crew.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm not surprised you appreciate that.
Yeah. On this episode of This Fucking CEO, contractor job security. What could be more secure than a prosperous company? Scraps the unions throw at us and being slowed down by outdated regulations. Listen to this, like, fuck you. This is so bad.
Totally.
This is the worst.
You've reminded me of something that Clive and Evie say to each other in this moment. I wrote down the quote. It's like, so when they talk about VT, that's meant to be short for Venturus. And so in this quote, Evie says to Clive, like Clive's saying, aren't we supposed to wait for VT to arrive? And that's what Andrew's saying too. They're like, why haven't we entertained the possibility that VT's coming?
Yeah.
Why did we just assume that they're not coming?
Yeah.
Why don't we have faith in this company? And there's a lot of reason why they don't have faith in the company.
Yes.
And Evie said to Clive, VT's not coming, Clive. VT's not fucking coming. You think sending a crew at the drop of a hat just to, quote, check on things is worth it to them?
Mm. Yeah.
It's like, this is where you really start to see why everyone's so unhappy with the company. And why it's so shady that they're subcontractors on this thing. Like they're private people who've been hired. It's like they don't have rights, you know? It's like the same thing when you're walking onto the ship.
Yeah, it's always stressed that this is Ventura property.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
When you walk onto the ship and it's like, welcome, this is Odin. By walking onto this ship, you waive all your rights. You're going to be recorded. You're going to be, and all of that belongs to the Venturus company. It's like this is super bureaucratic and a bit fucked. Like
Natalie not getting access to Odin.
Yep.
Like,
even though that's her job.
Yeah, even though it's her job.
And it reflecting poorly on Evie that Evie's asking management, and she's like, as this is like the third or fourth time that this has come up, we're marking you down as the second time this has come up, and next time this happens, there'll be severe consequences, which you're well aware of. It's like, what?
Yeah, like what the hell is going on?
That is so... I wrote down at one point, towards the end when some revelations happened, I was like, these snakes, you know? Like, rat bastards.
Yes.
So are we done with biology?
I think so.
So.
There's not really much else. Like, the view from the deck where Evie and Clive is quite cool.
Yeah, I did
that's
like
nice. That's where you see the dish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in that really nice garden.
Yes. I also like how Andrew kept on sending emails to everyone saying, if anyone wants some nice plants in their room, let me know. I've got plenty of good
some
plants.
of them have plants.
Yeah.
I do want to talk actually, because we skipped Sarah's like room, and I think
we did too.
That whole area is basically about her, and you mentioned it before about her losing that patient.
It really does go back into that mostly, right?
Yeah,
it's just that.
That's what it is. It's like, why is she following this travel blogger?
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, this person died under her care, and the only reason she's up here is because she called out the malpractice of the AI.
Yeah,
and has been like sent into exile in space.
It's very much like out of sight, so no one can see.
Yeah, totally. And Ventura sent her an email saying, "Hey, we'd be happy to upgrade your salary package if you would take responsibility for the events that happened in 2085 or whatever." And it's like, and she's like, "Nope, no thanks, see you later."
Yeah.
It's like these bastards, you know.
Sorry, you go.
No, I was just gonna say, like in our room, she has coins and stuff from where she's from.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like, good touches. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there were a lot of great little things in the rooms.
The rooms really were the only places that explored their
their past.
Yeah.
and their culture as
Yeah,
well.
totally.
Yes.
I'm sure we're going to touch on it, but they're all from different ethnicities and stuff, and so I kind of wish, for Sarah in particular, I feel like her ethnicity wasn't really stressed. I guess there wasn't. I would have liked to see more
That's
from her culture.
true. I think she was being used as sort of like the because she sort of assumes the same role as she did in the first thing, so they sort of use that symmetry. If you know what I mean, where she's like the catalyst, apparently, of the events that happen, where she's causing problems for Venturis. I think that's meant to highlight that sort of how she's a troublemaker to the bureaucracy, but also just trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But you make a good point that she sort of didn't get the same exploration.
Yeah, I feel like
She's
she's
very
kind
much
of
dealing
the
with the
main
guilt.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
More than
yeah.
Amy is.
She has the most to do with all of the characters, I'd say. Yeah. Just while I've thought of it, I want to bring up Clive's life situation that you see in his room. How he's got letters from his family that have said like, "Hey, we told you that if you jump ship from wherever you studied, then you're not going to accrue loyalty and you're not going to be up as high as you wanted to be."
Right. Okay.
And he's got all these like rejection letters from places he's been in the past.
Oh, right.
But like
okay.
now
I
that
didn't
he's
see
on Tacoma, he's like applying back to his university's college like job seeking opportunities, and also his friend who runs the cruise ship. He's talking to that company, and they're like, "Hi, sorry, thanks for reaching out. We regret to inform you that we're not interested in hiring anyone who has like basically jumped ship." And so that sort of feeds into that sort of loyalty that they speak about.
Yeah.
And how you basically pay for things with loyalty. So the longer you stay with companies in this world, that's the better standing you have. And if you jump somewhere else, if you get away from Venturis, and you're losing all of your loyalty, which is why Andrew doesn't get off Tacoma, because he's got to pay for his son's his tuition or whatever.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Like I think I missed a lot of the stuff at the beginning because I wasn't quite sure of how the game works. I think.
Yeah, totally. A lot of that is found from like notes in Clive's bin.
Right. Okay.
You know. So.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah, I just thought that was a pertinent information for like why this business is shit. Why there's a strange business culture in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's very much about the whole game's pretty much about that.
Yeah. Fighting the bureaucracy.
Is there anything else about biology and or medical that you wanted to
I think so. We
bring up?
we spoke about the Sarah hiding information from that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay. Well, next is mechanical engineering,
yeah. Mechanical
which
engineering.
is pretty much the end.
Yeah,
ish.
it's the second. It's the last third.
Yeah. Like it's all pretty much it's all almost one sequence.
Yeah.
You go from this into the next section.
Yeah, this is the one where you can't go left, or you have to go right when you walk in.
Yep. You have to do things in the incorrect order.
Yes. So this is where you see the shuttle blow up,
Yes.
Yeah.
which was intense. That was so intense.
So did you two go there first, or did you follow?
So yeah, when you walk in, you see Sarah talking to Odin
Yeah.
and Bert running in to go fiddle with the shuttle. I stayed with Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
the
so do
explosion
I.
happened in the other room.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, that's the same way I handled that.
yeah. It's actually interesting. You can't walk faster than Sarah as she's running during normal playback, because she's running and Amy can't run. Your character can't run.
Yeah.
She only walks. So as I was walking through and Sarah's running, I kept like pressing Q to like rewind it just a bit, so I was like keeping up. So Sarah's getting in front of me, behind me, in front of me, behind me.
Right.
Because I didn't want to miss anything while I walked in the next room. What are Odin and Sarah talking about before the explosion? Are they still talking about Nat and the hiding the information?
I don't. Yeah, because Sarah feels guilty
Yeah.
about it, and Odin is saying you made the right choice.
Yeah.
And then their discussion is interrupted by the explosion.
Yeah.
And then what does Odin say? It's like he says something. That's when he gives her the code for the networking room.
Yeah, that's when he's like, "Oh, by the way, the door is open to this section, which you are
like-
not allowed to go into,
Yeah, but it's
I
open.
cannot
It's
stop
open,
you."
Yeah.
And it's like, this is like I was talking about before, the expectations, the alarm bells go off. It's
Yeah.
like, what's gonna happen? the AI's luring them somewhere. Like,
I never saw Odin as a bad guy.
Yeah, neither
no,
did
neither
I.
did I. But there was always, I didn't necessarily see him as good either. That wasn't confirmed for me. He was always like
Right.
talking. I'm like, what is this? What is this AI's motivation?
Yeah.
It was just it was so uncertain.
There was there's kind of a level of there's like a false sense of security with Odin, I think, because Odin is giving away literally nothing.
Yeah.
Because Odin is an AI and doesn't have to give away anything through like emotions or like inflexes in speech or anything.
Well, that, and he's also programmed to not give certain things away.
Yeah,
he's also specifically told to, keep your claptrap shut. Borderlands.
Claptrap should shut up, but also yes, Odin is kind of almost a information withholder AI for most of the game, it's almost. Odin is kind of there to make sure everyone believes what they're doing is right. Because I think, like, kind of based off what Sarah was talking about with the with withholding Natalie's information about her heart, I think, I'm on the fence if that was the right decision or not. And I think Odin as an AI run by a company wouldn't even have the capacity to make a decision like that.
Yeah.
And more just wanted to give Sarah the peace of mind that what she did is the right thing so that she could keep performing her abilities.
Totally. And like that plays into that first scene in the gym where it's like he's interested in developing relationships with these people, and he has a connection with Sarah. Sarah and he have a connection.
You see that in Natalie's room as well when you see the introduction of Natalie
That's
to
right. And she says,
Odin.
what is your intelligence level? And he's like, 4 point something. And he's like, we're going to work on that.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah.
Did you say at the back of Natalie's room behind like something? She's part of a AI rights activist group.
Yeah.
Which I like. Do they actually mention that later on?
Is it the AILF or?
It's the same group that the main character, spoilers.
It is the AILF.
Is part of. So did Natalie call?
So
well, Natalie knows
Nat was talking
dog character,
to
right?
Hassan.
Yeah.
Hassan, yeah.
Yes.
He was called like Snoopy Dog or whatever.
Yes.
So that was Nat's contact, and then Nat and Sarah have a conversation at some point where they're like, "Oh, I should hook you up with this guy. If you ever head back to Earth, there's this guy who's super good."
You see a conversation from Sarah to Hassan as well.
Yeah, at the very
which is
end.
like, who are you?
He's like, assumably he's like, who the hell are you? And she's like, I need your help.
So I would assume then Sarah called them to pick up.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. But that's jumping ahead. So yeah, the explosion.
Well,
happens.
but that was the first teasers towards the AI, whatever rights activism group.
Yeah, it's the Artificial Intelligence Liberation Front.
Yeah, something like that's
what it
is
is.
that
I looked it
okay,
up.
cool, right?
Yeah. It was interesting. It was interesting here seeing Roberta have a life or death moment where Sarah has to perform CPR. It was interesting because they're only, these wireframe representations. There was no gore or anything. You didn't see the fire, as with all of the things. You only see the aftermath. So you see where the fire extinguisher gunked up the ports and whatever. The thing that really got me was seeing the bodies fly without any of the explosion. That was like, like that hit home. Seeing that, and then seeing Nat and Bert have their moment together where they're like, oh my god, we're in pain and this is bad and what are we going to do? While Odin's trying to convince Sarah that it's okay to leave them alone and go into the AI room that no one's allowed to go into.
Yeah.
I was definitely at this point still getting spooky vibes. I was like, why is Odin helping them? What does Odin want?
Yeah.
What is happening?
I wasn't at all.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, I didn't never second guess Odin at all. I don't know why I didn't.
They just don't give you much reason to have faith in Odin.
Yeah.
He doesn't give you much throughout the rest of the thing. He
Yeah.
does tasks or he has conversations that don't tell you much about his motivations. They tell you about his sort of character, but not his motivations. You don't know whether he's trying to bend the rules against Venturus or whether it's just a law-abiding AI.
Yeah, and like I had watched 2001 quite recently before playing Tacoma, which is all about that, and so I was getting major HAL flashbacks.
Yeah, you should see that movie.
The CEO in this section mentions that there are financial concerns about the company.
Yeah.
And that orbital worker safety legislation that's soon to pass will pave the way for fully automated orbital facilities with AI, which has got me to the point of like, this is like, fuck this. This is all just to get rid of people to work for Venturus. Like, this is all...
Totally.
Like at that point, I'd pieced it together of like, this whole thing is just a load of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we get to the like ending component, like the ending story bit, let's talk about the character rooms. So like, there's Bert's room, which is Bert and Nat's room. Yeah. And then there's like the
Bert's old room,
Nat's old room.
Oh, it was in Nat's old room,
which is storage.
Yeah, which is just.
And there's also in the maintenance shaft, which is Nat's like hangout.
Yeah,
I liked that a lot.
It was so nice. So
the song that was played while she was reading the magazine. What's she reading in the magazine? The smoking. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so cool, and it's just that's all she's doing. She's just. I sat there as that whole bar went across. I was like, "Is anything happen? I'm just gonna wait." Nothing.
It's a good song. The music for that game is very good too.
Oh yeah, really good.
Same with Evie's song that she plays on her guitar in her room.
Yeah, that was really nice, and her voice.
Yeah.
I did you guys, just a quick aside, did you guys ever use like the relaxation sounds when you came across them? In rooms? Like, in like the garden, there's a panel that says relaxation sounds.
Yeah.
And in Sarah's room, which is interesting now that I think about it, because Sarah has the panic account. The panic earlier, she's got that panel where she can have like ocean sounds or wind sounds or whatever. So, in
the bedroom,
or before the bedroom, it's interesting that it's cool just how, like, up front they are. Like, they've got that sign that says, if the bunks are rocking, don't come knocking.
Yeah.
It's like if the curtains close, we don't have a door, please knock on this wood that we've put
on the
door instead.
Yeah. It was so clever. Did either of you look under the bed?
No.
So did you see the bed? So, like, I'm jumping ahead.
It's like a weird bunker bed kind of thing.
Yeah, it's weird because they had to retrofit it into a double bed because that wasn't like standard issue.
Yeah.
So there's like this wooden frame that comes out, which is cool because they're like the mechanics of the crew. And so Nat's there like supporting Bert, who's an artist, which is awesome. He's been accepted into this art thing, and that's so cool.
Yeah, like I wrote, Bert wants to become an artist and is using this job to help pay for her art course.
That was so lovely because instead of it being like that made so much sense with Bert's like character.
Yeah.
Because the only thing we'd really heard about her ambition before that was like,
be with Nat.
Yeah, I just want to be here, and I've got a paycheck, and that's great. And let's just stay here because this is good. And this was like, oh no, you've got stuff you want to do.
Yeah, she's actually looking ahead.
Yeah, it was so that I love that.
So what's under the bed?
There's a box under the bed, and you take the lid off the box, and there's this device. Right. And you know how everything when you hover over it says, pick up mug, pick up spoon. This, when you hover over it, says pick up ... And then when you move away from it and come back to it, it says, I'm just going to leave that there. And it's definitely a vibrator.
That's really good.
It's so good. That's really good.
I love those two so much.
Yeah. Yeah, they had the most heart, I think, throughout the rest of the game.
I was going to say exactly that. I love that you said that. Yeah, no, that was lovely, that room. And it was cool seeing that Nat's room was just storage. Or like, we don't want that space. That's not like we've got a bunch of shit we need to keep away.
Yes.
If I'm going to spend time with someone, it's going to be in this room that we've made ours. Or if I want time to myself, I'm going to hang out in the maintenance shaft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
because it's the last section, major section.
Network.
Yeah.
Networking.
This is into Odin's like place, and this is where you start seeing more and more signs that are like, it's Ferrier. That's her last name, Amy Ferrier.
Yeah,
because they're like subcontractor Ferrier this way, or because all the signs are like dynamic.
Right. Okay.
This is where you see more signs. It's like this way, into the AI room, this way, AI room, this way, and I'm like, it's dark and scary. The floor is lighting up.
I felt like Kojima on the E3 stage.
Except more in time.
Yeah, except more in time. The design of those rooms was like my favorite kind of sci-fi.
The AI room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
Totally useless.
Super angular. I don't know if you've ever seen a movie called Oblivion
I haven't.
with Tom Cruise, but there's a space station at the end of that film, which looks just fucking rad. And yeah, like the AI room is so ominous.
Yeah.
The conversations the AI have between each other are so fucking ominous.
Oh, with what's that other one called?
They're all gods of some kind.
Yeah, one of them's Odin. I just can't remember. There's only really one that you see having conversations.
Yeah, like it's a higher up one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that pink star. That's its symbol. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
That's okay. In this room, you see this transcript from the CEO that's like, someone's yelling at him like, we're down 18 points.
Yeah.
We've got to do something now or it's you or us. Like, you're ruining the legacy of your family. It was this whole thing. It was directed to Sergio.
Yeah, because like they mentioned that a Venturis is finally in control of Venturis Corp again earlier in the game, which led me to believe that at some point they had lost control of their company and the son of the founder or something has come in and taken the reins again.
Yeah.
And is failing a
Yeah.
lot.
Totally. They're underperforming. And there's some other thing that's saying, it's after the event that Sarah was a part of, I think. Or maybe it was something more recent, but yeah, their stock price has been plummeting. So it's like, there's a lot of pressure on the company. That's strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is Odin still saying to Sarah, because Sarah has been invited into this room as well, saying, I can't stop you from coming in here. You know, you shouldn't go in here, but I can't stop you.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. Maybe I'm going to kill you because I'm an evil robot. Maybe I won't. Yeah, and then you see that final message, which is it's Sergio already recording the condolences message, saying,
Yeah.
we've lost the lives of 6 great crew members on Tacoma Space Station due to human error.
Yeah.
Already recorded on the space station, sitting on the files.
It says like do not release until this date.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen Wall-E?
Yeah.
Because they kind of do that a bit.
What do you mean?
There's a human in Wall-E, like as in a actor in Wall-E, who's the president of By and Large, which is the company.
Do you mean like the captain?
No, not the captain. The head of By and Large is a company.
Oh, okay.
When they're still on Earth. And because you see all the messages of like, hey, you found life, it's time to go back to Earth, and they already have pre-recorded messages of Earth is bad, don't go there, and it's a very much don't release this message until much later.
Yeah.
And like it reminded me a lot of Wall-E. Like I have a feeling that was inspired by that section of Wall-E because it's a very similar kind of story.
Yeah, totally. And also that sort of corporate manipulation, now that we're talking about it, also reminds me of Fallout a bit, with Vault-Tec.
Yes.
How they're running the all their different experiments in each vault.
Yes.
And
yeah, you find out Venturis only wanted to have automated stations so they don't have to pay workers.
Yeah.
And Odin was the one that destroyed the oxygen tanks, and it was all a false flag.
Yeah, totally.
And yes.
Odin's been forced to break the space station at a certain point in time and let the crew die.
Yeah.
And
So they can use that as being like, well, we can't have human people on the spaceships
because
anymore.
they had that analysis of what was the most likely way for the company to grow in the next 12 months. And it was like, if there's some fatal accident in the next 12 months, that can allow you to have completely worker-free space stations, and then
which is what they mentioned.
Rise.
Yeah, which is what they mentioned in the previous thing with the safety legislation.
Yeah.
And this will just jump it forward, basically.
Yeah. So they manufactured this thing. They wanted to murder this crew just so they get a bump in stock and they can get past unions and dehumanize the workforce, basically.
Yeah.
And something I found really interesting is you saw Odin's parameters. They were like, you shall not do this. You shall not do this, you shall not do this, you shall not do that.
Right.
And then you can see how Odin's been working through it to get Sarah to see the files. To get Sarah, and then there's just because that's Odin's room, in there they could hijack the communication services, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
Sarah's able to get an SOS out.
Yeah. That's when Sarah gets the SOS out to the Snoop Dogg. Whoever.
No.
She gets it to the whatever that ship's called.
Yeah,
that,
the cruise ship that's got Clive's
Clive's
friend
on it.
Oh, I thought it was to. Oh, okay. I misread that.
No,
Right.
So
they-
the people that pick them up, Clive's friend is the person that picks them up because he gets the message.
Oh yeah.
He just happens to be coming past.
Right. Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that's
gotcha.
why they're going to Jupiter, because the cruise liner is it's an Earth to
Okay.
Jupiter.
Yeah.
cruise.
Yeah. I was unclear at that point about like. Right. Okay. That makes a lot more sense because I was like, no, not everyone wanted to cryo and stuff. I was confused about how everyone went through.
Yeah, so
Okay.
then what happens,
that makes more sense.
Then what happens afterwards is systems start coming back online.
Yeah.
And that's when Nat and Sarah get onto Hassan
Yes.
at the very end.
Gotcha.
And they wake everyone up from cryo. And
I was really conflicted when all of this corporate stuff started happening because I was like, oh, I'm just here working for the bad guy. Like, that's the player's thing. It's like you've been sent in by Venturers
Yes.
to retrieve Odin and take
Yeah.
it back. And it's like, oh, I feel so grimy and dirty. Yes. Yeah. I actually started really struggling with that towards the end. I was like, oh, now I'm here to do I've got to do the job. I've got to pull Odin out and I've got to take him back to Ventura. So we're going to wipe him clean. This one AI who helped these people. Yeah, that was hard.
And then you get the final section, which is everyone at the end of the ship.
Yeah, in the middle tube in the 0G.
Yes. Well, you see some people at the very end of the ship in the observation deck. No, isn't it at the end?
No.
Where is it?
You can watch that at the very start.
You watched at the very start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I did that.
I did not.
Yeah.
So did you watch it at the end?
I thought it was a little thing for the very end.
No. You can watch it from it's the
Yeah,
first
I
one I
saw that
watched actually.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
me too.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that conversation was actually. Who was
No,
it?
it's
Was it Evie?
Nat and Sarah.
Oh, that's right. And she's floating around.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
like spin around in the. And I made a note when I did that. I was like, when Nat spun around in the thing, I as my character like just started
Spun
playing
around.
around a bit with the physics. I started spinning around.
I think it was good for a starting thing. So you could.
Right. Well, look, because operations
around
was
with
my
it.
starting thing.
Yeah.
Did you put the basketball in the hoop?
I couldn't
Many
do
times.
it. Nah.
Many
I
times.
tried like a couple of times. I'm like, well, this is too hard.
Yeah, I played a bunch.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what goal I was going for. I was just like, I got the ball. I'm going over here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, I missed.
Kerry's being very animated right now.
Very animated. You can probably tell by how I'm talking over this way and it's not working in the mic as well. Yeah, what do you think of the last scene in the cryo tube? No, when everyone's getting out of cryo.
That's right. And Andrew's waking up still, and he's acting a bit funny.
He's like,
Yeah.
oh, so Venturus is coming. And they're like,
no,
nope,
you
they're
idiot.
definitely not coming.
It was an end to a story which I don't know. Like the ending was just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a big resolution or anything. It wasn't a I don't know. It was
I'd say it was a resolution.
yeah, but it wasn't a like a grandiose. Everyone's problems are this and this and this and solved
Yeah.
in this way.
It
Yeah.
felt really final that Sarah was the last one. She waited for everyone to leave, and
Yes.
she was the last one out,
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
which was cool.
The other thing I picked up in this section, because this is the section we were talking about before, where Sarah and Natalie get a message out to Hassan saying, we need a hand, we need help.
Yeah.
Throughout the game, when Nat is having conversations with Hassan, he's signing off with H.
Yes.
And that's what you see in the book when you come back to the book after going through every section. You know the book that you put in the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a thing saying, like, there's the Venturous words saying, oh yeah, we just need you to get Odin, don't worry about it. And then occasionally there's messages signed off by H.
Right,
saying,
okay.
This is H, by the way. Oh, looks like your handler's coming back.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, there's a
That's
whole
cool.
there's a whole log
I
there.
didn't
So
notice that either.
so when he's signing off with H, I'm like, I'm a sleeper agent. I'm here to save the day. I'm like, yes.
There was weird. I can't remember what it was now. Like there was something about like a message would half come through very briefly every now and again.
Oh,
what was that?
That's why I was so freaked out. That was Odin.
Right. Okay.
That was Odin because that was on the AR overlay, right?
Yeah.
And that was saying now entering engineering and sciences, and then but then it like glitched out and it said I am here,
Yeah.
and I was like,
I kind of just assumed that was sort of the name of the conversation that was going to happen, like the title of the conversation.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was.
I just knew that it hadn't been happening.
Like
And it started getting glitchier and started being all like spooky, it's like existential AI broken kind of.
Yeah, like I thought it was going to be an AI went nuts.
Yeah.
Is initially what I thought because of how, like it happened fairly frequently
Towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but like it even happens at the start, but it's like super like
Oh, okay.
like I barely noticed it to the point where I was like, oh, what was that?
Yeah.
Until I thought back on it later, then I realized what it was.
These are the ones I noticed. So it says, when it says now entering engineering, it glitches out and it says, in all capitals, allies? Question mark?
Yeah.
And then later on it says, I am here. And not long after that it says, in your hands.
Right. Okay.
And I'm like, what? I'm so scared.
I think you're reaching, to be honest.
I was expecting something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what Fullbright does. They play with your expectations.
Yeah.
So you get back onto your ship
Yeah.
and you plug Odin in to the what do they call it? They
Call it
carrier.
the wet something. It was called the wetware tray. It was called wet something. Wet software or something.
But to hold AI
Yeah.
in transit.
Yeah.
In jail.
In jail.
So when I was coming out of the ship at the very start of the game, I turned around in the airlock and I saw that Amy put AI here.
Right.
In the slot where you put Odin in at the very end. I saw that. I was like, oh, that's weird. I was like trying to click on it. I was like, oh, whatever. And then I saw that it was all really like weird and retrofitted and it's got all that wood around this like thing.
That was really confusing to me initially. Like, I don't know why this ship has got this like handyman wood stuff.
Yeah, it was weird. When you're walking in at the very end, you see the bit where you plug in Odin and then you have to walk around that edge. And then there's like the cockpit here, but the wood also comes around behind like the cockpit seat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's this thing saying, this is like handwritten note saying, tested and approved by H.
Right. Okay.
And so that was when I was like, fuck yes.
Right. Yeah. Like I didn't like when I was in the ship, I wasn't quite sure. Like I was just kind of dicking around with mugs and like throwing shit at the wall. Like, hey, this anti-gravity stuff's pretty neat.
Yeah. I didn't notice the tested by H thing until the very end.
Right.
I was looking for it. I was like, this thing seems like if there's going to be any retrofitting, any like sleeper cellness, this is where it's going to be happening in this area. And I was like, yep, sure as hell, there it is. Sure as hell. What does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah, so that's when you plug in Odin.
And you get the message of like, don't worry, we're part of the Liberation Front or whatever it is.
Amy says, we're part of the Artificial Intelligence Liberation Front.
The Judean People's Front.
We think you're in serious danger and we wish to issue you political asylum.
Yes.
And he's like, given my options, I think I want to accept.
Yeah.
And the end.
Then you blast off into credits.
Yeah. I really liked the ending. I thought it was pretty satisfying. Like you were saying, there wasn't much closure.
No, like I meant as in of the characters on Odin's ship.
That's true. It's sort of like, will they, won't they? Oh yeah, they're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is fine. Like I didn't, think anyone needed like to die or anything.
That's true.
There was enough conflict.
True, and it would have trivialized the sort of more human moments, I think, because in the
like if Sarah had to stay on the ship because the ship was about to explode.
Yeah.
I would have gotten it, but it would have been like, yeah, all right. She accidentally killed someone a while ago. Well, she's responsible for someone's death, and now she's saving people. Like, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would have found that a bit cheap. Like, that didn't have to happen sort of a thing.
Yeah.
It was nice that this sort of wrapped itself up.
June?
As in my opinions on the ending? Or?
Yeah, on both endings.
It's different because I thought about it differently the two times I played it. The first time I played it, I didn't like the ending. And I
Do you know why?
I just thought it was, just unsatisfying, I suppose.
Okay.
I don't know why. I did, play it a while ago, and I wrote some notes down when I played it last time.
Yeah. As in the first time or
the
this
first
time?
time.
Right, okay.
I wrote here, twist at the end was welcomed, but not exciting. I didn't end up caring about the AI Odin.
Right.
I think that's fair.
Did you care about Odin more this time?
Yeah, so the second time I played it, I knew the characters and I knew what happened. And I did find myself caring more about Odin. Because, like we were talking about before, I never saw Odin as a threat or was scared of Odin or, thought any different. He was just, a guy here to help.
Yeah.
So it sort of made his like liberation at the end a bit like
it was just like,
whatever.
I guess so. Yeah, I suppose. But the second time I played it, I enjoyed it more, and I think because I got more details out of it as well, I did like the ending.
Yeah,
much more.
What about the ending of
The characters?
Yes, the cast.
I don't know if I have an opinion about that. It was good.
I mean, there's not really I don't know if there's really much you can get from that. It kind of like just
no, because it's such a neat tie-off.
Yeah, like you're kind of bystanders throughout the whole story anyway.
I'm kind of glad, like you were saying, I'm kind of glad that it didn't, end in a bang or anything like that. It just it happened.
Yeah.
When you first played it, at what point did you realize that they were actually going to survive? Because it took me very late to realize they actually all made it out.
When Sarah was finding the instructions from the other AI, and when you get the communications out, I was like, "Oh, good." That was when I.
So
that was when
I didn't realize until the very end.
Right, because I was thinking they were actually still going to all die.
Yeah.
And
they found out and they were going to die anyway.
Well, as in they wouldn't be able to get there. No one would have been able to get there in time. And I actually
you watched too many movies.
Well, yeah. Well, like I assumed the final chapter was you're going to be finding all the bodies,
oh,
and it was going to
they were all in cryo where they were.
Well, some of them were in cryo, and some of them maybe not, or like they're in.
You play Soma.
Yeah,
that's basically what Soma is.
I know. But I was very happy to say that I didn't have to find dead bodies.
Totally. And the cat survived.
The cat survived.
The cat definitely survived.
Cat.
Did you find the cat in every level?
Not in every level.
That's an achievement, though.
I didn't have the achievement.
Yeah, neither did I.
Found the cat a bunch.
Yeah.
But...
things I really liked in... Shall we talk about what we liked?
Yeah, sure.
Just in general, as, details-wise, not like, in the story, because we just talked about that. But,
of course.
I really liked how everything was interactable. Like, you could touch everything, you could play with everything.
Totally. Very Fullbright.
Yeah, and, you can play pool. Like, it just let you play pool.
Yeah, it totally does.
I really...
And basketball as well.
Yeah.
And darts.
You can play darts? Where was the darts?
Next to the pool table.
Oh, it just made sense! On the dartboard is Sergio's head!
Yeah.
You're throwing darts at the CEO's head!
Oh my god! Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Through the entire game, you're on this abandoned space station, but you never actually feel alone.
Yeah.
That's true.
At all.
Because even in the middle tunnel, they've got that cleaning robot.
Yeah. What does it say? Excuse me?
Yeah, when you bump into it, it's like, excuse me.
Did you find the second cleaning robot?
No.
So there's an achievement which is there's another one that's stuck.
One of them's called Romeo. Is the other one called Juliet?
Yeah.
Yes.
and then they find together, and the two of them, they start like swimming. They start like flying around each other.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And it's like reuniting Romeo and Juliet.
There's so many things in this game
Yeah.
that are so unnecessary, but work so well and create such a character. Such a it's a heartwarming game. It's sweet.
Oh, totally. Like that moment with Nat and Bert where they like thump into the wall. Like that could have been Bert didn't have to like fall back against the wall. Bert could have like caught Nat, or Nat didn't have to jump. It could have just been like a hug or whatever. But it was this really full on motion and that like pushed on the wall, and you see it reflect in the other room, and it's like, you're right.
There's a lot of stuff like that. It's also stuff that made you feel like you were there.
Speaking of picking up things a lot, now do you understand why on the Twitter account what did you tweeted at me saying I don't have your stupid letter making program?
Yeah, I looked at your thing. I was like, how do you? You must be in game, but it looks like you've got some thing that
letter making program. It
was some like
I
text
took off
generation
every single letter of the Obsolescence Day thing because you can take So, like, did you fill in the word obsolescence there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like, you get an achievement for that.
Yeah.
I took off every single letter, and I had the word Tacoma in so many different ways, missing letters in every, and I was gonna tease it day after day, and then be like, "Hey, we're playing Tacoma," and you were like, "I don't know what Jeremy's doing, but we're playing Tacoma," and I'm like, "Kerry."
People need to know what we're playing. It's a game club.
It was gonna take 2 days, 3 days max.
Y'all should follow the Twitter.
You should follow
For
Game
more good
Spoilers Pod
content
Twitter
like that.
and not follow KJ Palmer.
Yeah, everyone should watch Jeremy talk to himself when he's trying to promote the podcast.
Hey, don't at me. Except do at me so I know you're listening. But another cool thing about picking up things a lot is that the letters in Obsolescence Day, you can take them off and then put them back on, and take them off and put them back on, and then at that point the blue tack will no longer work, and you can't put the letters back on because the blue tack has worn out.
I love that.
It's just like it was such a.
Who thought to do that?
At some point, someone was like, "Hey, wouldn't this be cool?"
Yeah.
And then just added it in.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like little stuff like that. I don't know.
Yes.
It's very sweet. What else have I got here? Should we talk about representation?
Sure.
I've got a couple of extra details I
Yeah.
want to clear up just while we're in this section.
Yeah.
Does anyone know what the point of Tacoma, the station, is? What is it there for?
I assumed it was just like a research station.
Yeah. Is
I
it
think
a
they
layover
mentioned it-
station between the Earth and the Moon?
No, because it's like it's not like
Oh, that's not going to be fixed, is it?
no. I don't remember.
Yeah. No, I have no idea what the purpose of that station
I
is.
think they mention it, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it's not important to the story.
You mean Odin Station?
No, I'm saying what the point of the place is clearly isn't important to the story because it doesn't pertain to anything.
Right,
really.
okay,
It
I
doesn't
gotcha.
affect anything. Something I noticed was that everyone's got this AR technology on them, right? And they're all being recorded, but it's not like they're all in this other world. Like, you know, the assumption right now is that when virtual reality becomes more prevalent, or when augmented reality becomes more prevalent, it's like people aren't going to be looking at anyone anymore, and you don't have to look at anyone's face or talk to anyone. It's not going to be an interaction. But like, Sarah's doing yoga, and Andrew's planting plants and sending them to people, and there's and Bert's painting, and there's all of this stuff that's like, these people are all still living their lives, and the AR is just there.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It's just like a phone.
Yeah.
Just a mobile phone that you can see.
yeah, sort of maybe even less intrusive than how we use our phones sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like they were consumed by the technology, even though it was more high tech. Oh, and the other thing that I wrote something here. That's something I picked up on really early, and it's interesting seeing that in the rest of the context. I said something that I'm really enjoying about this game is that it just seems to be an exploration of the setting so far, and the complications with bureaucracy. There's no tension here. I don't feel like I need to be so involved. It's just like, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously the story sort of develops and there's more like stakes, but it's that exploration about bureaucracy which I think is really interesting because it's done through a futuristic space setting.
Yeah.
So it's still really relatable, but also incredibly interesting in a sci-fi sort of a way.
Yeah. If it's very much like, it's almost like a magnified version of what we have of the world, like of corporations and I don't know, magnified is not the right word, but it's like it's like an exaggerated it's an exaggerated version of what could absolutely happen.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about the cast.
So we've got queer couples.
Yep.
Two queer couples.
Two queer couples. So Andrew's got a partner.
Yes.
And obviously you've got Bert and Nat, who are very gay. And it's explicitly stated multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah.
As well as Andrew's, actually. And it's never hidden. It's never hinted at. It's always just said.
Yeah. Like there's no one like, could they be? It's very much like,
This is it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no guessing or anything like that.
yes.
There are a multitude of different body types as well.
Yeah,
I
totally.
really enjoyed.
And that I think that's great, not just because it's mechanically helpful, so you can distinguish them from their
Their
body
characters,
types, but
Yeah.
also
But they could have just made them different colours and it would have been fine.
exactly,
But-
they didn't have to do that,
No.
and it wasn't just a mechanical reason. It's like because all people come in shapes and sizes, and that's fine.
It did obviously build their character as well and help them create individual personalities. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, like I said before, the different ethnicities. Like everyone came from a different part of the world.
Yes.
Like,
I need to talk up a bit.
sorry. And also the use of sign language whenever you open.
Yeah.
That was
Whenever,
astounding.
yeah.
That was so interesting. That
I'm not
was,
sure. I'm assuming it'll just be like, play sequence or whatever it says in sign language. But I've never actually looked up what that
Yeah,
meant.
I have no idea what it is.
But
Well, yeah, it just seemed to be that was the way that Amy had to sign things.
yeah,
It was because that was always letter by letter. That was how you entered the letters.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And then it was like the draw the OK with a circle and press go or whatever. Although it was also interesting when starting the recordings, it was like something and then like press play or something. It was some weird thing. It was very
Kerry's
interesting.
moving again.
I'm moving my hands to yes, but I think I'm wondering now that we're talking about it, is that because there's no sound in space sort of a thing? So if you need to open, you don't need to press buttons. You can just
I think that will be part of it.
maybe. But like, you hear Amy's voice at the beginning and at the end, and you
Yeah,
don't
that's
hear it
true.
at all during the rest of the time. So like, it would have like I don't
you
know.
only hear it in the ship.
Yeah.
It might be in case the spaceship is, out of oxygen, people in spacesuits can still sign
They can't. Yeah.
to get through things. I don't know why keyboards wouldn't work in space. I have no idea.
Yep.
But yeah, like it was a cool way of like, as opposed to just like your hands going on a keyboard.
Totally.
That's all I really had down for representation, but I thought it was really important and
Yeah.
really,
Yeah, it was good.
really, really lovely to see.
Yeah, a
I
Fullbright.
mean,
are
it's
all
what,
about
yeah,
that.
it's what I expected from a Fullbright game.
Yeah.
I would have been very dissatisfied if it was anything else. So.
Totally. It was also interesting. Like there were 2 men on the ship.
Yeah,
Yep.
actually, I didn't even think about that.
2 men.
And they, weren't in like leadership roles.
Yep.
Clive being even like, fairly submissive in his relationship.
Andrew being nervous the entire time.
Yep. Yeah, like it wasn't like, men in masculine roles.
Totally.
It was like, they were just different sorts of people than you normally see in video games.
Mm-hmm.
And the roles were pretty spread out amongst each person. I'm not like it's hard to kind of figure out, where Clive and Natalie really go with their like. It's hard to figure out their characters.
Clive and Evie.
No, Clive and Natalie as
Okay.
as like their people in relation to their roles, because
Right.
you don't really see
You
much
don't see
of
the role.
Yeah, like like Clive's role is operations specialist. I have no idea what that means.
No, neither do I.
As far as I can tell, he doesn't-
Cogs.
Yeah, like as far as I can tell, he doesn't do it in his in the entire game, and you see him applying for jobs.
Yeah. Oh, what is he doing? Because he's either talking to Evie, talking to Andrew,
Or his friend.
talking to Evie, or on the phone with Cruise Man.
Yes, Captain Cruz.
Captain Cruise.
Yeah. No relation to Terry Crews
Or Tom Cruise.
or Tom Cruise.
I think my first playthrough, I didn't actually enjoy it that much, to be honest, Tacoma. When I was writing down my notes because I was going to write an article about it, I didn't do that. But I'm glad I did write it down because I had comparisons. I could compare the two. I really felt, I think, because I'd just come off the back of playing Gone Home,
Right.
and I was hyped for Tacoma, and I feel like it didn't live up to the expectations that I set on it.
Yeah.
Is that still the case?
No.
No.
So I think, yeah, because I didn't split the two as separate things,
Yeah.
it ruined it for me, kind of.
Right.
Whereas when I played it again, I could divorce it and have it as its separate own game.
Yeah.
I feel like... What have I got here? I wrote here from my original notes from last year that I said that it doesn't try and follow the same footprints. There's no atmospheric tricks, and the spaces. But now I see, playing it again and hearing your, first playthroughs of it as well. That there is, and like obviously you thought that Odin was kind of spooky, and I never got that, I guess. Yeah. Because I went into it expecting a Gone Home situation where I knew it wasn't going to be scary.
Totally.
And although when I opened when I was a bit spooked about the cryo stuff, and when I opened the closet,
and the
kind of expecting like a guy in a cryo suit or something, like a frozen man.
Yeah.
It was a skeleton. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It got me, but that was the only time that I was scared at all, or a bit tentative and stuff. I didn't get that through the entire game.
Cool.
What else have I got?
With the parts you missed in the second playthrough that you got in the first playthrough.
Say it again.
Usually when you replay through stuff, you kind of can do it more thoroughly because you know what to expect.
Yeah.
Was there parts you skipped
in the second playthrough?
Yeah.
No, but say in the second playthrough, I never went into Nat and Bert's room.
Right.
For some reason, I don't know why I didn't, and so the second playthrough I did.
That area's a little convoluted.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. But I think because I was kind of just eager to get the game over and done with when I first played through it. It's like, well, go to the end now. It's done.
It's interesting because I've heard Gone Home was such a blowout success.
Yeah.
And it caught everyone off guard. And I think that's why it was such a success, because people didn't know what it was when you were going into it. It was so surprising when you played it, and by the end, all you wanted to do was to share it with someone and just say, don't read anything, just play the game.
Yeah.
Tacoma is coming off the back of that success, where everyone has an expectation now of being like, oh, I'm going to go in, I'm going to be so excited for the storytelling, and it's going to be quirky, and it's going to be evocative, and there's going to be all this great interpersonal storytelling stuff.
And it was.
Exactly.
It really was, but I still feel like, even now, I still feel like it fell short a little bit from Gone Home. If you do compare it next to Gone Home, but I feel like if you have it separate and pretend that it's not a Fullbright game and it's, wasn't made off the back of Gone Home, it's such a good story.
I agree.
Right,
it works well. It's polished and sharp and beautiful, and that's how I need to see it.
Yeah, I agree. It sort of makes me think of, last year when Abzu came out. Or maybe it was the year before. The common critique I heard of Abzu was...
It's not as good as Journey.
Not as good as Journey. Yeah. We already have a Journey. We don't need another Journey. People who don't know Journey or don't know that they're connected, they'll either play that game and be like, oh, this is Journey, except it's underwater. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And just love it. Or they'll be like, they don't know what Journey is, and they're like,
this is really cool.
This is amazing. This is so atmospheric, and I'm diving with ocean animals, and the sun's coming through the dapple water. Like it just
it's really interesting.
Yeah, trying to go through expectations like that.
At work, I work at EB Games.
Brag about
Disclaimer.
I've only sold Abzu to people that haven't played Journey. So when I sell it, and normally it's to kids, and to people that to younger audiences.
Right, it's like a PG game.
It's a PG game that looks really pretty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good choice. This is really good. Have you played Journey? It's like, no. This just looks nice. I'm like, it's really good. It's really beautiful, and you'll enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, play Journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you're right about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Expectations, everything.
Yeah, and I think me going into this without playing Gone Home, I knew the story of the game, but I didn't know what kind of game it was. I'm assuming it's similar.
It is, except they play with you a bit more, in the same way that I'm scared of Odin, or scared of what Odin might be able to do, and not sure where it's going to go. They play with that a lot at the start of Gone Home, where you walk in and it's like, I'm in an empty house.
Right.
There's a storm outside.
The television's flickering.
Yeah.
Okay.
No one's here. Like,
Right. Okay.
I think also maybe just for me me personally, I feel like the overall story of Gone Home was more important than the story of Tacoma because it's about not being scared of coming out and of coming out.
Totally.
And Tacoma, I mean, though it did have queer characters, they're out. They're out, and then they are in loving relationships.
Yeah.
It was beautiful to see, but
And it's more about the scenario than the...
Yeah, it's more about the scenario than the actual. Gone Home is like a piece of media about being queer, and it's done in such an excellent way that depicts how it does feel like to come out as a queer teen, and I guess I was expecting something along those lines.
Yeah,
I never got them.
Tacoma is a lot more about like worker relationships and corporation bureaucracy and big business and stuff. Which I thought one of the things maybe it didn't do as well was the AI liberation stuff. Is just kind of there it is.
It's sort of like an extension of the setting.
Yeah, like there was no. Odin didn't have a personality in the way that I was like, oh, this AI's really got feelings.
Not until the end.
He only had a personality through his actions.
Yeah, in that last section. Like, there was, like, aside from him wanting Obsolescence Day, which felt like, to me, a programmed thing for the AI anyway, there wasn't like Odin really likes to play chess with Natalie. Odin really likes to talk to Sarah while Sarah is playing pool. It was mainly just like hey Odin, I feel like someone to talk to. I am here to talk to you. Because that is my function.
Yeah.
It wasn't a conversation. It felt more like a reactive computer as opposed to an AI, which, thinks and, has its own cognitive intelligence.
I have to disagree with you on that one.
Okay.
Because in the gym, that's exactly what Sarah and Odin are doing. They're having a conversation. Odin's like, oh, I recall this time that something happened and I was told to do this and I did it and it went badly and I no longer received the discourse with this person that I had grown accustomed to.
I liked that. I thought that was a really good moment of a computer learning.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a good... this computer has a personality. Like, it wasn't Odin never made a call.
No, that's true. But I guess what it meant to me was that clearly these characters can connect to this AI, and this AI is also connecting with them. I did get that, because it was like he was connecting with this person, because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to imitate whatever this person said in this anecdote the way he wanted to. It wasn't just through observation, like, person does this at 11 o'clock. It was like, they understand the tics and the way they move and what they do and whatever.
Yeah, like, I think I just wanted more of a...
like a personality?
Well, like, more of a... Like, I wanted to see what Odin wanted. Like, I wanted to see Odin... Like, I think it would have been really cool if at some point you would just hear an internal monologue of Odin thinking to himself. Just to kind of have, like, a... because throughout most of the game, Odin was just like, hello, computer. Like, it wasn't much of a, like, Odin is a person they are talking to sometimes, like you see when, like, Sarah is talking to Andrew or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't a back and forth, it was more of a, like, a... Odin would share its experiences, but wouldn't have its own moments, I think. Like everyone's got their own moments whenever they're doing stuff, I think. And I think that actually comes from everyone having their own room.
Yeah, totally. Because that's their own moment.
Yeah, like, say if Odin had occupied the storeroom that Natalie used to have, I think that could have been really cool.
Did something on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point.
Because I think, like, you really connected to most of the characters' personalities when they were in their bedrooms. And, like, I don't know, like, Odin just didn't have that.
Yeah.
Like, Odin had its orders. Which I get for the story, but I think that was why it was really strange that it ended on a liberate the AIs, because, like, they never really mention, like, they never really have a, like, hey, Odin's a people too kind of moment throughout the game. And so I think it tried to say something a little bit extra than maybe what it probably could have ended on, which was more about corporations and workers.
I feel like maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have, because I am not really interested in that kind of
right.
topic in games.
Right.
I tend to just like zone out when it comes to like business talk. So I don't know.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out we didn't discuss Sarah's motivation for clearing Nat for cryo. Which is what she says before the explosion. I'm just remembering where she says she made the decision so that Nat didn't have to die alone of asphyxiation in an empty space station.
She could fall asleep and not wake up again.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it was like a humane thing that she was doing.
Yeah. And it never even came to that, which was interesting. It was like, oh wow, that's a crazy choice. What's going to happen?
Neither.
And it didn't. They didn't explore that. They just toyed with the idea of it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting in keeping the tone sort of with enough brevity, with enough lightheartedness, even though stuff happens.
Yeah, like this is what I was saying to you, Kerry, about how like it felt like a good Star Trek episode. Like it wasn't like there wasn't too much. It was dramatic at some moments, but it wasn't like
intense.
Yeah, like it wasn't intense. You're viewing everything, knowing that whatever the outcome is, it's already happened.
Yeah, I feel like if you did play as Sarah or something like that,
yeah.
if you actually were Sarah, it would have been a completely different game.
Yeah, or if it was you're watching it while it's happening.
Yeah.
Like say you play as Odin.
If you could do
watching it all happen,
that would be interesting.
Like it would have been a completely different game because.
I wonder if maybe they tried that out at first because this game's in development for a while.
I have no idea.
There's a talk. The developers did a talk at GDC this year actually that I was meaning to watch because I have GDC Gold Access.
Right.
And I didn't I didn't get the chance to watch it before the podcast, which is a shame. But they talk about the mechanic of the main mechanic in the game about reversing time and going back and forth, and how they did that while there were so many other conversations happening and timing them all together and stuff like that.
Yes.
It will be very interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll tweet about it. And
we'll tweet about it.
Join the conversation.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to talk? Who was your favourite character?
Andrew's son. I like the sunglasses joke.
I could tell.
I don't know. I like Natalie a lot.
Yeah, I think that's my answer. It's Nat.
Nat's my favourite character as well.
Yeah.
Nat or
so much spunk and
she's got so much personality.
Yeah.
And I think that's why. But also I really, really did like Sarah a lot as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I think a lot of the other characters are not written in a way that it makes you like them on purpose.
I think that's fair.
There's not a lot of I never really had a moment of like me struggling with a character. It's very much like a archetype of each different personality trait.
Yeah.
I don't think it was stereotypical though.
No, not in a way which I think degraded the character. Like a way Clive is nervous and will do whatever Evie says because he likes Evie a lot, and Andrew is scared of a lot of things, and Sarah feels a lot of guilt, and this is all all of their personality traits almost they had a personality trait. I think they didn't really have multiple very often. Which I don't think is bad, and I think that totally makes sense for a game of this length and this scope. That it just kind of plays on those types and just kind of throws them in the deep end of some of their actions. And some of the where their emotions lie. Making Andrew have to do what he fears most, which is something that could kill him.
Yeah.
Which is quite scary.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's not necessarily about by the end of the game having had a specific emotional response to each character.
No.
It's about getting to know the character and who they are. It's about portraying this character through their past and through their actions and through what they read on their computer and stuff like that, and having an understanding of them and then how they interact with these people.
Yes.
Regardless of how you feel about them, I think.
It's also good to see how different they react in their rooms as opposed to with everyone else. Like
when Clive's drunk and talking to his buddy.
Yeah, he's talking to his friend and he's saying that he just spilled a bunch of drink all over himself and
he's getting frustrated with him as well. He's like, no, I can't just leave. I'll lose all of my things. He's like, and then he's just having a laugh. Yeah.
And Evie, who's quite in charge of a lot of things in her life, like she's just in her room quietly strumming the guitar.
Yeah.
Which is she's not doing work in her room, which could have been an easy thing for them to do. So yeah, it was cool. Seeing that stuff.
Yeah, I think it all played out really well. They understood the characters inside and out through the mechanics and the writing and the visual interpretations and the rooms. It was an excellent character study.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
What would you rate the game out of whatever you'd like to rate it from?
Ooh.
On a scale from 0 to gone home.
I'm looking around the room like paper towel, pop filter, speakers.
I was alluding to as in you could just say I recommend or not recommend. It could just be in any rating system.
I would recommend.
Yeah.
It's only 2 hours. 2 to 3 hours.
I think I did. I clocked it at 4 hours
4
because
hours.
at the very end I went back to take all the photos for the joke that Kerry spoiled on Twitter. You monster.
Yeah, I am a monster. That's right. Even though the people.
I didn't want to spoil it for you. No, this is in the game, but you just kind of went off and tweeted it.
I did, although I don't think anyone saw it.
People like that tweet.
That's because I'm funny. I think this is a great game. It's a great game to play. It's excellent to see characters so different and interacting with each other and understanding them. I think it's great. Give it a go.
Yeah.
Now that you've listened to this whole podcast.
Yes.
Great.
You can find us on Twitter.
Well, I mean, so next month.
Next month, I think we've decided to play What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yes.
That was on all of our lists. We've been trying to figure out a way to do that. So yes, we're looking at doing that. That's another similar game in length and sort of
Time to Beat says
walking
2
simulator
hours.
tone. Yeah.
Will we have a guest next week or not?
I don't know. We might.
In the next couple of episodes, at least, we will have a guest or two.
Yes, I would say so. Probably our most avid listeners. So get your views up, everybody. Also, we've been toying with the idea of doing another podcast, sort of supplemental to this one.
It'll be separate.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be under Game Spoilers podcast because it wouldn't make sense because we're not spoiling games in that one.
It'd be more us...
freeform, just talking about games.
Yeah, talking about the news, talking about release dates and stuff like that have come out, issues that have happened in the industry that we want to talk about, and just...
Kind of whatever the fuck we want, really.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about competitive bingo.
I'll have my 2-hour Indiana Jones podcast.
Yeah, you'll finally have your...
Did I tell you my friend was like, you didn't tell me that you talked about Indiana Jones in your podcast. I would have listened to it so much earlier. I did.
See,
I'm
talk about Indiana Jones for 30 seconds.
She enjoyed it.
You mean I talked about Indiana Jones? Because neither of you have seen this.
I played Indiana Jones music in high school.
Yeah.
In band.
You played John Williams. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
I sell the Lego Indiana Jones at work.
It's a easy platinum. I hired it once to get the achievements and returned it.
Cool.
Lego games are good. They are 9. So probably What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yeah.
When I say probably, I mean yes, because now we've said it.
We wanted to say it in this podcast so everyone knew. You
Yes.
didn't have to be looking on Twitter and whatever. Although we want you... I mean, maybe it's not what remains of Edith Finch, and you have to look at the Twitter. Wink, 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 wink,
That Twitter account that Kerry is referring to is GameSpoilersPod.
wink.
Feel free to email us at gamespoilerspod@gmail.com.
Have you checked the inbox of that?
I do. I get emails every day from automated email service companies saying, would you like to host your podcast on our website? And I'm like, it's already hosted somewhere else.
Yep.
If you would like to hear us talk about something specifically in, the games that are coming up,
Yep.
please let us know.
Yep.
'Cause we would love to talk about them.
And if you want to
even
tell us...
even in previous games that we've done, we're happy to touch on them again.
Yep.
Mhm. Totally. And if you want to tell us your opinions, if you disagreed with us, just tweet at us or email us. We want to... I feel like it would be a bit silly if it's like, we three are going to talk about this game and you're only going to hear our opinions and we're not interested in yours.
Yep.
It'd be weird to share that online. So no, we're interested in having conversations that everyone else can have.
Yep. And you can have conversations at GameSpoilersPod, at the email address, and at Kerry, where can they let you know what they think?
At KJ Palmer 24.
And June, where can they let you know what they think?
Let me just get my actual one. JUN_ESS, so Junez.
Junes.
And as always, you can tweet me at Obi1Jez, OBIWANJEZZ.
Yeah, Jez as in Jeremy.
Yeah, Jez is in Jeremy. 2 Zs. And, you can listen to this podcast wherever you're listening to it right now, as well as Gamespoilers.com, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and other podcasting apps, which I am not told where.
Yeah,
'cause
totally.
That's how podcasts work.
And if you have a service that you prefer to use for your podcast and it's not on there, send us an email or tweet at us and we will make it happen. With the power of our...
Of me, because
Jeremy.
I'll be the one to do it.
Of our
But that's fine, because I will love to do that for you.
by the power of Jez.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for listening, everyone.
Thanks for listening.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate it.
We'll see you when we find out what remains of Edith Finch. Unless it's not that and you have to look at the Twitter. Wink.
Just keep plugging. Bye, Mum.
Wink.